the symbolic language of Revelation. This is where most preachers and pastors get confused about this book of Revelation. They are confused because Revelation is full of parables, images, symbols that do not have straightforward meaning. They don't have straightforward meanings and interpretations. Oh, hold on. What do you take God for? What do you take God for? You think that God will communicate like a nursery school child? No. You think that God will communicate like a nursery school child? IT it, IS is, O and on, you be up. No. God passed all that level now. He communicates in wisdom, in symbols, when God opens his mouth to utter wisdom. Because his name is wisdom, the one and only omniscient. He represents the picture of a huge man, to King Nebuchadnezzar, that he is talking about the kingdoms of the world. When God mentions woman, you think he's talking about your mother. No, he's referring to church. You know what he calls dragon? You think it's animal. No, he's referring to Satan. He mentions horns of animals, but he's referring to kings. Sea means plenty crowd of people. Wind means problem or strife. Beast, you think it's animal? It means a system of government. See, Revelation, very interesting book. Plenty parables and images and symbols, but they do not have literal meaning. The same God has provided their true meaning inside the same Bible. That's why he said, he that readeth should understand. Normally, in reading the Bible generally, you give the texts their literal meaning, unless the text points to intended symbol. If it points to intended symbol, then you give it the meaning according to the symbol. But you see, in this book of this Revelation, it's not so. The book of Revelation is different. If you find some texts in the book of Revelation that point to literal meaning, good, assign the literal meanings to them. But if they do not point to literal meanings, if they are pointing to a symbol, then you cannot assign literal meaning to those symbols. You must interpret them symbolically. He that lacketh wisdom should ask God that giveth to all men liberally. You cannot interpret these symbols on your own. That's why you need the great teacher, the Holy Spirit. When the Holy Spirit is invited, he interprets and explains this thing to your understanding. But people who are stubborn and disobedient, their eyes will be blinded to the meaning of all these things, and then they will be confused. That's why many people run away, because they do not really want to follow God. Jesus Christ, sometimes he made parables and just allow it, and the disciples will ask him, why are you talking to them in parable? He said, it's not for them to understand. It is you that I'm going to give the meaning, but to them, I'm not going to explain it to them. All the writings all the images and symbols employed in the New Testament, especially in the book of Revelation, those images and symbols were drawn from Old Testament. Many of them were drawn from Old Testament. So if you want to understand the book of Revelation very well, you need to go back to Old Testament and study. Most of those symbols were drawn from Old Testament. Because this means that the way God offered salvation to the people of old is still the same way he is offering salvation to the people of now and in the future. So the book of Revelation is written with symbols, and these symbols have meanings, and the meanings of these symbols are still inside the Bible.